Boomer TV with internationally renowned Cyndi Dale, author, speaker, healer, and the author of 27 books about energy medicine, intuition, and spirituality. This is Andy Asher, editor of Bloomer Boomer. We invite you to be part of this amazing journey on the platform that will launch you toward the most fulfilling life you want after 55. Now today, Cyndi talks about activating your creativity. Creativity creates a significant life benefit physically, mentally, and even financially. How can you unlock and activate your creativity energetically? Come and learn. And now, here's Cyndi Dale.
Hi, everybody. We are going to energize our creativity today. So what do I mean by energy or energetics? I'm an energy healer. I am an intuitive. And so when I'm talking about getting more energetic, certainly you want to get more creative by actually doing something, by cooking if you're cooking that makes you feel good, or by playing in the sandbox, or skiing on the swing, or dancing, or doing puzzles, or whatever it is that means something to you. But we can also activate our creativity, and there's many reasons we want to be more creative, by using invisible, and in my world we call it subtle energies. We are mainly made out of subtle energy, the invisible stuff of our dreams, of our hopes, of our feelings, of our thoughts. And we also have an energy system. Just you have a physical body with different channels and fields and, flowing, kind of movement in the system and organs. We have the same with the invisible self. And during most of our times together, as we are going to do today as well, we work with a very special type of subtle energy center or organ called the chakras. These are the energy centers that can make the physical turn into the invisible, turn the invisible into the physical. So that's what we're going to really focus on, is how to kind of free ourselves up from any stuck places where we tell ourselves, I'm not creative, I'm not innovative, I don't have a creative bone in my body. We're going to break through that. We're going to unleash the spark and the fire of creativity. And I'm going to tell you why. Because the more creative people are at any age, the healthier they are at absolutely every level. Being creative makes you happier, so that's psychologically advantageous. It reduces dementia, depression, anxiety. It gives you clearer thinking, not just if you have dementia or Alzheimer's, but just for decision making. We, for instance, think about 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Of those, 80 to 90% of them are the same that we think absolutely all the time. That's called boring. Worse than that, most of those thoughts are negative, and you can't even hear them in your head. They're just recycling sort of garbage, to be honest. And you don't want to be like that, because what you think you become. If you think bad thoughts about yourself, you're not going to feel good about yourself, and you won't do the kind of things that will help you be happy. You won't talk to the people that you really like. If you hold on to those negative thoughts and let them move up and out, which being creative can enable you to do, you're also going to be less physically healthy. For instance, after somebody does something creative, their heartbeat falls into a very normal and healthy state of rhythm. Their immune system is boosted. Everything they do is just cleaner and crisper, as is the entirety of the physical body. So want to be creative, and you know how to be creative. Sometimes I wonder why we stop, and when do we stop being as creative as we were when we were kids. I'm sure you remember all those fun years spent moving from one sort of exciting project to another, from crayons to painting to reading to doing dress up or make believe. I think back to my own childhood, and I was always making things up. My parents would often tell me I was making too many things up because I could talk to ghosts and I could see colors around people. That's very creative, my parent, but a little too creative. they said. I'm not just talking about intuitive creativity. I mean just that sense of being able to marvel at the world and be in childlike wonder. I was always playing Star Trek or Nancy Drew or dressing my sister up to be fairies so we'd do make-believe. We built forts, we played games. Everything was just sort of moving from one expressive event to another, except for school. And, I learned to get creative in school. That's why I could get A's, because I made up different ways to memorize the things that most of the time I didn't even care about knowing. So that creativity actually works with many parts of our brain. But what many of us don't know is that there's actually a home for creativity in the physical body, not in the brain, lower than that. And that center, that kind of brain center for creativity in the physical body, is the same as one of the chakras. Those subtle energy organs that change the invisible into the visible and the concrete into the intangible. So, if you study creativity, you can see how important it is to be able to imagine, to be able to let yourself run wild with the invisible, with the inaudible, with imaginative, with the thought and feeling that absolutely anything can come into being, because that's actually what has created this world and most everything in it. How about the wheel? That was a creative invention thousands and thousands of years ago. But I've actually studied creativity. I've read books about creativity. Physicists are creative. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to observe and test the laws of nature. Cooks are creative. They certainly know that which is mix it with that and you're going to blow up the oven. But they're creative. Inventions come from creativity. And your joy comes from being able to be creative and to let go of all the picky rules, like you're not supposed to be creative once you go to school, or you're not supposed to be creative after you graduate from school, or when you're an adult, you're supposed to be serious, or when you're over 55, you're really supposed to be a ho-hum, not interesting person. And I don't know, I'm over 55, and I think it's far easier to be creative because I really don't care that much what people think. I care from a passionate point of view. I care from a point of view of my heart is open. I'm not looking to hurt people, but you know what? If I go through life with one shoe this color and the other that color, during a day, does anybody really care? Not really. And if it does something for me, that's the way to go. The physical and subtle energy home for creativity in the body is your abdomen. Now, from a biological point of view, this is the home of what's called your enteric nervous system. You have more neurotransmitters for feelings in that part of your body than you do in your head. This is the center, it's called the gut brain, that generates more feelings than any other aspect of you. 80% of your immune system sits in here. So do gabillions, trillions of different microbes that digest your food, which determines your health. And this is the center through which you feel the world, know how you feel, and then express it. Creativity is essentially the expression of your emotions. How you share your joy, or if you're sad, what do you do with it? How do you do something with your sadness? How do you express it in some form in this world that leaves you feeling more love rather than just that kind of heavy sadness? When you're scared, the healthiest way to deal with fear, besides respond to it in the moment, is to act it out, is to create from it, is to show it to the world, and maybe you work through the reasons you're scared. You don't have to be scared of something that really can be scary in the first place. So creativity and feelings go hand in hand. Basically, creativity is an expression of your feelings. That part of your body in the energetics is called your second chakra. And that's the energy center that is hello about feeling and creativity. In my world, we say that we could get blocked in a chakra. What that means is that we have experiences, beliefs, or subtle energies, or even physical energies that keep us from able to work with and to live out that energy center or what it's about. So often when people have blocks with their emotions, it's very hard for them to be creative. Um, you can be one of those empaths who absorbs other people's feelings, and then you're just so down and out most of the time. When it comes to doing something you love doing, you just don't up to get it going. You could be somebody who got judged for being feeling based and or creative when you're growing up or as an adult. And so you sort of put a hold on that energy center. We are going to work through blocks. I'm going to do a short guided meditation to help you do that. And I'm going to help you activate the feeling basis for you to be creative and give you a few ideas on what you can do to be creative. Now, I'm going to cheat. Every single chakra, and I work with 12, has a different expression. I'm not going to go over that all right now, but I'm going to give you some idea of how to express your creativity based on the themes of each chakra. So after clear this block, open you up, get you ready to get wrapped up, I'm then going to just slowly say the name of a chakra, give you a few ideas. Like if you're a first chakra physical person, get creative by doing this. If you're mainly a second chakra feelings person, try this. And we're going to go through a quick list of ideas, and then you're going to promise yourself you're going to be creative starting today. All right, take a couple deep breaths. Breathe deeply. It's most effective in clearing yourself and getting oxygenated to breathe in through the nose and breathe out through your mouth, and allow yourself to fall into a rhythm of breathing in and exhaling, and then just sort of relax into your body and connect with whatever it is you call your higher power. That can be your own inner sage, whatever word you use for God or higher power, or just the sense of goodness that we not only want to believe in, but that believes in us. And then by your breath, follow a breath and then an out breath all the way down into your abdomen. You might even want to put your hands over your abdomen, around and just under navel, and greet and be greeted by second chakra. We're going to ask that your higher power just breathe you in the center of that chakra, that energy center. Right into the center, there's a core of bright orange in there. That's the color representing the band of frequency of this center. And now I want you to just think about a couple things you used to do when you were a kid that were really creative. And I want you to enjoy that feeling. Weren't you carefree? Really, you didn't have any negative thoughts because you were just doing you. You were in the moment. You were in your activity. You're in the engagement. And you can feel how free and clear your body feels, even with that memory. Now, think about doing something creative as an adult in the here and now. Just check if any place in that abdomen gets a little cranky, grumpy, constricted, shut down, or those thoughts arise like I look like a fool. I'm not a kid anymore. Well, we are always. And wherever you have resistance to that sense of natural expression, Just ask your higher power to clean it, to clear it, and to reopen that joy, giggle of expressing. That feeling's going to move throughout your body. And I'm going to name 12 categories of personality / chakra types, each an idea about how certain types of people might choose to be creative. All right, because we tend to be more one type than another. So really, first chakra, physical people, your creativity is doing, cleaning, running, making something happen. Walk a different way, run a different way, try something new with your cleaning. Start in the different room, do something different. If you're naturally a second chakra feeler, creator, how about if you try your feelings a different way? How about if you're scared, you pretend you're happy? How about you do any creative expression? It's going to be easiest for you to do something when you have a feeling, to paint, to dance, to sing, to read a book, to do anything out of your feelings. Third chakra, mental people. You can be creative, take on a project that's structured and change the structure. Move your calendar around a little bit. Book a date night on a different night than you usually do. Eat dessert first, not last. Just mess with your structure a little. Fourth chakra, relators, healers. Think about something different to spend some time with. Volunteer at a humane society. Do something with a different person or type of person, and that's expression for you. Fifth chakra, these are the people who are communicators. You know what? Read a different genre of a book. Sing in the shower. If you usually sing in the shower and not in the car, sing in the car. Make up a song, write a ballad, put on a whole act in front of your community. Do something with that voice or writing. Boom, that's your creative outflow. How about if you're more of a sixth chakra visual person? Rearrange your furniture, get some new decor, wear all the same color every single day of the week, and then change the color the following week. Dye your hair, stripe your hair, do anything visually that's really wild, unusual, and self-expressive. What if you're more like a seventh chakra spiritual person? You're the prayer warrior, you meditate. Well, that too be creative. Try a different way of breathing, of praying, of meditating. Drive by religious homes, temples, synagogues that are different than the way that you practice or that you process. Some people are very mystical, called eighth chakra. They're mystics, they're shaman. Really, anything you do is probably already creative because you're an unusual person. But if you're blocked, sit down, light the candle. If you can connect with the spirit, do some channeling, see what messages you can bring through from the angels. Ninth chakra people are very harmonic. They care about the world. Sometimes they can care too much. They can volunteer too many types of projects. So creative for you might be doing something just for you because you want to. Eat a dreamsicle. Do something you did as a child that doesn't even, really impact anybody else but make you feel good. Couple more types. There's somebody I call, the group of people I call the 10th chakra naturalists. You're nature. You're all about nature. You want to create, make something out of nature. Learn astrology. Learn feng shui. Learn how to set up the room differently. Talk to your animal. Do animal communication. And then the last one that's really a type of person is called 11th chakra. It's the personality type that is a leader and that is commanding. So create and command at the same time. I don't care if it's even on Zoom. Get your friends together to read a play script, or at night, call each other up and read a book to each other. Do something where you're interacting. Sure, you're leading, but you choose an interactive element. start a cooking class. Even if you can't cook, make sure you bring somebody on the class that can cook, learn from them. Do something that you can manage, but make sure it's a creative effort and something you would like to do. And then finally, everybody has a unique attribute that's called your 12th chakra, a way that you are just who you are. At least once a week, think back to something only you really did as a kid that was super fun and funky. And you know what? Think about a way to do something like that now. And there, you're creative again. Thank Andy. I would love to see if there's questions.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, I am a huge fan of creativity. So if I can just say this, just imagine how successful a conservative button-down executive can be with a creative way to look at problems. So, creativity, it covers a lot of different areas.
It absolutely does. And they're creative accountants too. Some of them go to jail for it. But
yeah, that's true.
You can be creative. I don't paint, but my house needs to get bigger. I'm actually going to add on because every inch is covered with wall hangings and beautiful artifacts I've picked up in my travels around the world. So you can be creative in what you surround yourself with too.
Point. Now, this is from Stephanie, and she wonders, can I make myself creative? In other words, are there times when she wants to be creative but has trouble making herself that way? She's wondering if it's laziness or something else.
I would say it's probably a block, probably some deeper messages that are like, this is not worth it, or I'm not worth being creative, or it's going to take too much energy. I think sometimes to get ourselves going, we need to make ourselves be creative. Most of us cook in one form or fashion. Force yourself to not cook the same food you always cook or follow a recipe. Make yourself make something up and give permission for it to not taste good. So you can pick something every day and just say, how might I feel if I just do this different? And you can get out of those old ruts that way.
Yeah. This is from Jeff, and he says it surprises him when he hears people say that they don't have a creative bone in their body because he knows it's not true, and he's wondering what to tell people who say that.
Well, it's not true. And I think it's where we get stuck. It's sort of like I grew up thinking you're only creative if you are painting, acting, drawing, or in the creative arts. And then I started studying creativity. Every single type of personality and every single profession requires creativity. I mean, certainly if somebody's going to paint a painting, they need to be creative, but physicists are creative. They're inventing new things. Chemists are creative. Teachers are creative. In order to engage their students, they need to be creative. So rethink it, Jeff, and look at what you've been really good at and analyze it for what was creative. Take that idea into other areas of your life.
Well, let's see. I think there's one last one here, and this is from Jane, and she admits that sometimes needs to control her creativity. Sometimes she feels she gets too wild. I don't know. That's different, I guess.
You know what? That's probably a bit of a judgment, too, from parents or childhood or other people that you get a little too wild, right? Some people get judged because they're too spontaneous or they're painting their house and all of a sudden there's one room with just speckles everywhere. So, I would reevaluate the word wild. Like I know for both kids, I gave them permission to do whatever they wanted in their rooms. And people would go like, why did you let them have 6 colors of paint, in their rooms? It's like, well, that's what they wanted. So, just sort of like play with that word wild and substitute some other words like joyous or expressive and see if that lets you accept yourself a little bit more.
Well, of course, we're living in a time when creativity is even more important than normal, isn't it?
It is because we tend to be stuck certain states. Everybody's almost stuck at home, and you don't have the level of engagement. You can't do what you're used to doing. You got to keep yourself energized, and being creative will do that. I started a new book. I'm rearranging, some of my house. I'm adding on to house. Now, I'm not going to be, putting in those nails in those new walls, but just that art of like designing add on to my house, that's a form of creativity for me.
Well, very neat. Well, we're going to be visiting again next week, right?
We're going to talk about energizing your goals. See, we had to talk about creativity first, so you think big enough for your goals for next year and beyond.
Very neat. Well, as always, thanks so much, Cyndi, and you have a good remainder of the week.
You too.
And thank you all for joining us today. Thanks, Cyndi Dale, internationally renowned author, speaker, healer, and business consultant, and the author of 27 books about energy medicine, intuition, and spirituality. You can find out more on Facebook and on YouTube and at boomerboomer.com, and follow us if you will. And in the meantime,